Hello YouTube, Brand the Tech Man here, and today I have for you a video review on the Apple iPhone 5. This particular model is in the color black for Verizon Wireless, running on the 16GB capacity. Now, the first thing I want to discuss with this phone is the design and the display. Arguably the two biggest changes that you will immediately notice. Of course, the internal changes are definitely there, and the speed increases will be noticeable after a little while of using the phone. However, the first thing I want to go over is the elephant in the room. So the new display is 4 inches as opposed to 3.5 inches on all the previous iPhone models. The resolution is now 1136 by 640. What that means is that the previous resolution of the iPhone 4S and 4 were 966 by 640. So horizontally, the display is the same pixel-wise, same width physically. However, they made the display taller to give it a 16 by 9 aspect ratio. That means less letterboxing when you're watching HD movies, which is definitely a plus. I will say that it takes some getting used to after using the previous models. Just the sheer size difference, as well as the fact that it's taller, it seems a little strange at first, but once you get used to it, it's really a great display. And on top of that, the display has actually been improved in terms of its contrast, color accuracy, saturation, as Apple stated, and it's definitely noticeable. As good as the previous displays were, this display is simply phenomenal. It has nearly reference quality, in my opinion, color, saturation, and contrast, and it's just, in terms of quality, the best display on any phone on the market, period. Now, that could change, but for now, I think Apple used what they learned from the iPad 3's display and implemented a lot of it on the iPhone 5, and it looks fantastic. So in terms of the design, on the front, very similar to the 4S, you've got the earpiece. Now the camera has been moved on top of the earpiece as opposed to on the left, and the proximity sensor and ambient light sensors, they're both smaller, and they're not even noticeable on the black version. They're imperceivable. And then if you go down, you have the home button. Over here we have the 3.5mm headphone jack, new lightning port connector, microphone, and speaker. Flipping it over, we have the 2 volume buttons as well as the vibrate switch. Then on this side, just the power and lock key. The other side, we have the nano SIM card slot. And then on the back, we have the most noticeable change. It's now this two-toned finish. It's a piece, at least on the black model, of anodized aluminum, painted black. And then it's flanked by 2 glass pieces. We have a microphone, a third microphone there. Apple has added a microphone to include better clarity when speaking, as well as better recording for audio in general. And then we have the LED flash and the 8-megapixel camera with a new sapphire lens cover. I'll get more into that later when I talk about the camera. So flipping the phone over, why don't we talk about the performance and the battery life? So overall, their performance is unbelievably snappy. I know there's a lot of talk about the Geekbench score as being somewhere around, I think, 1631, which is neck and neck with the international version of the Galaxy S3, sometimes even beating it. Now, those are very, very impressive scores indeed, and I'm not going to get too into the tech talk here. I'm just going to talk about how it feels to use, and I can say that this is by far the snappiest phone that I have tried out in the market. Now, of course, there's a lot of Android phones coming out down the pipe. One of them being the Galaxy Note 2, which obviously has not been released, so I haven't gotten a chance to try it. I don't know how fast that is to use, but what I can say is that the iPhone 5 is very, very snappy. Now, I don't know, scientifically speaking, if it's actually that much faster than its Android counterparts, but for some reason it gives the illusion in the user interface that when you're opening applications, everything seems to feel faster, more responsive. And I've been using a Galaxy S3 as my personal daily phone for a while. I actually got the unit to review if you check back on my YouTube channel for Brand the Tech Man. And I really enjoyed the phone, and it was very fast, and this to me just completely, in terms of the user interface, blows it out of the water. There is no noticeable lag. It is so quick. Opening applications is a breeze, and everything is just extremely, extremely quick. So you would think that with the added specs of a processor that's now clocked at around 1 gigahertz, sources tell us, and double the RAM, as well as a thinner and lighter design with 4G LTE running on Verizon, which, by the way, has been running pretty well, you would think that the battery life would be downgraded, but it's actually been very, very good, improved from the 4S, and I've been experiencing some fantastic battery life on this device so far. Now, on top of that, along with the performance, we can talk about the phone call quality. I have tested the phone, and I'm probably going to post another video showing you the speakerphone quality. But what I can say is that the phone has definitely been improved. The quality and the clarity is better. Is it a tremendous difference? No, but that new wideband audio frequencies that Apple was talking about seem to have paid off to some extent. And finally, I can say that the iPhone is actually a decent phone, which is something that we haven't been able to say for quite a while. So, finally, I want to talk about the camera and some of the other features, miscellaneous features, before getting onto my verdict on the device. So the camera, I'm not going to get too much into it. I'm actually going to have a separate video just on the camera, but basically, and I'll have this right here. This is the new case for the EarPods, which, by the way, I tested out. Again, I will have a separate video on this because I don't want to get too in-depth in a just this review. But the audio quality of the EarPods is definitely tremendously improved from the previous iteration. But anyway, I'm going to take a photo right here. There we go. And by the way, the speed, if I just show this quickly, the speed is very, very fast on the camera. It's been improved from the 4S, which was already quite snappy. So if we take a look at that photo of the EarPods right here, there's a decent amount of clarity, detail. Camera is very good. Now, the sensor is pretty similar to the 4S. It's been slightly improved to garner better low-light quality. And the difference is noticeable if you're in a low-light situation. And the new Sapphire lens covers an interesting little tweak that Apple put on. Does it improve the actual quality of the photographs? No, but it does help that if you're using it on a solid surface, you don't have to worry quite as much about scratching the lens, which is a huge deal. So just some of the other features that I'll mention quickly. Siri has been improved, although that's part of iOS 6 more than anything else. Speaking of which, because it's iOS 6, if I open the eBay application here, part of the problem is that you get the letterboxing, so you get the two black bars flanking the application because it's designed for that 3.5-inch display. So when that's updated, that's going to be great. For now, though, it's a little bit of a nuisance to have to use the smaller virtual displays, so to speak, than having that full 4-inch display to work with. And overall, my verdict of the phone is, for the mass market, this is the best phone on the market, period. And I say this because with the iPhone 4 and the 4S, I was skeptical about saying that because there were some definite lacking features and flaws with the device. The phone, the display size was almost painfully small. The absence of LTE was really inexcusable to me. The battery life was not great on the 4S. Siri was not working as it should have. Overall, the product just wasn't as good as I've come to expect from Apple. However, the iPhone 5, you can tell design-wise, everything that's been put in the device is very calculated, and down to the tiniest detail, you feel like you're getting a premium product. This is fast. The battery life is great. Camera is excellent. The design is now lighter and thinner. And overall, the device is simply excellent. I have almost no qualms for it. Of course, while I'm using it, I'm sure that I will find some more issues to bring up. If I had to kind of nitpick, I would say that the fact that the display is simply taller, not wider. I understand Apple was going for the one-handed use, but it's a little strange looking. I guess that'll take some getting used to. And overall, to be honest, I really would have to dig deep to find any major flaws. I guess you could say that iOS is starting to get long in the tooth. However, it's still very easy to use, and for the mass market is a great device. Now, very carefully note the fact that I said the mass market. There are tons of people out there, myself included, to be honest, that would like something like the Galaxy Note 2, which has that gigantic display, all of the specs, the power, the versatility. Android is still a very formidable operating system, don't get me wrong. I'm simply saying that for most people that are not using their phone for a specific purpose will love the iPhone. It's just a great device. And I am not really attributed to any specific company or software, but I just feel that after reviewing the iPhone 5, seeing the kind of quality that was put into one product really says something to me, because Samsung is great. I think the S3 is a fantastic device. I'll actually have a comparison between the iPhone 5 and the S3. The issue, more or less, is that Samsung is putting out so many devices. A lot of them are very good, but the quality is missing to some extent. So if Samsung could somehow improve the build quality and maybe improves the user interface a little bit. Their Nature UI was a step up from TouchWiz, but it still wasn't quite there. Apple would have some serious competition for the mass market. But for most people, unless you're craving the bigger display and all the specs and the prowess
Android offers you as a whole in terms of that kind of versatility and the customization, then there's certainly better options for you. But if you can live with the smaller display, you don't mind Apple, you don't mind iOS, this is a phenomenal device. I don't think you'll have any regrets in buying it. And I can safely say, again, that this is the best phone currently for the mass market.